Hello everyone and welcome to our Game Week 2 preview. I'm Chris and Kieran is here too. How are you today, Keek?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, excited for Game Week 2. Game Week 1 was right, so yeah, good to go.
Yeah, excellent. Just for everyone tuning into the stream, if you're new, say hi. Hi to you and thanks for joining. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat and we'll get to as many as possible. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, do that now because we would love to get to 5,000 subs by the end of the season. So you mentioned about Game Week 1. Let's just bring up our points, talk through it. Really similar, despite having quite a few variations in our team. I finished on 76, you 77. Are you happy with that? I know it feels like we're a little bit behind the curve a little bit.
Yeah, end of Sunday or Monday? I think I thought I was like kind of maybe like 10 points ish behind everyone on sort of the bubble on Twitter. It seemed like anyway.
Yeah.
But the sort of rank of 1.2 million, I suppose, is okay for Game Week 1. If I can get the same sort of points next week, then I'll be looking at probably a decent score, a decent rank. So just hopefully can kick on. A little bit disappointed with the Odegaard pick instead of someone like Maddison, which I could have easily done.
Yeah.
And then disappointed in the United forwards and mids and just how crap they were. So
I know. I agree. I suppose at the moment there's such like little differences. I think, but every point is like worth almost 400,000 places. So it doesn't feel like that much at the minute. But yeah, I think you and I were both expecting and looking forward to that Monday night game with double United attack and the triple up with Shaw, and both of us had avoided Onana in the end after having him. I think when we did the stream last week. We both fell foul to it. Like, I still had Gabriel in my team, and let's jump on and just talk about that straight away because it was I don't know, it was such a sore one because going to the deadline everyone seems to know what's happened. Like, Andy got the leak that perhaps he wasn't going to be starting. Loads of people had time to switch to Saliba. I didn't, and paid the price for that because people got the assist out of Saliba, got the 5 points, or transferred him out totally. So I feel like, and maybe even 20 minutes to half an hour before that, you and I both found out that Stones wasn't playing. So we had such, I don't know, change in our team, which we've been planning for weeks before the deadline, and more problems for those who obviously in different time zones and miss deadlines completely because they're asleep or whatever. But yeah, it was a bit of a sucky start to the season, I felt, from that point of view.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I'd just gone to someone like Kanji, but then because I'm just worried about Shaw now in Game Week 2 because obviously we got those Stones news and then I went for Shaw instead, just same price point.
Yeah.
And obviously had the good fixture. Obviously he got the 5, he got the clean sheet, but it wasn't particularly smooth sailing. And, obviously against Spurs this week's not looking good for a clean sheet. After that, it looks okay, but I'm not. I wasn't gonna own him. If I was gonna own a United defender, it's gonna be Onana, as we've talked about.
Yeah,
and, that sort of turned to fruition of all the points and the saves and the the bonus and things. So just a bit annoying, really. In the end, like the leaks are annoying. But if they weren't there, I would have been stuck with Stones. But
exactly.
But, he's possibly got a hamstring injury now, so who knows why he was actually like out in that game, like he was out the squad, like so yeah, it just is what it is, I suppose. But the Gabriel news is frustrating for you, possibly dropped as tactical. So but now Timber's got injured, so you'd imagine he comes back in. I feel like he does. Tomiyasu came on, right? But I don't know, I feel like Gabriel is just going to play. I wouldn't be that keen to move him on straight away.
The Arteta quotes after the game were interesting because it implies that he's ready to like play hokey cokey a little bit with his formations. Like he wants to go full Pep mode. It's like the idea is why he spent so much money strengthening the squad for like 2 players for each position. I agree. I feel like Gabriel will probably come back in this weekend, but I don't know, from what he said here, so we expected a game that actually happened and we needed somebody else there in midfield to do what we have to do the best, have more fluidity and occupy certain spaces in relation to how they were defending. I think it worked really well. So the fact that he thinks it worked well makes me think that is an option moving forward, that they play 3 sort of like natural defenders, 1 right centre-back, 1 left centre-back and a centre-back, and Partey, who is obviously that fake right-back, moves into midfield. So I could see
He's just copying Pep again.
He is. Absolutely. And I could see it happening again in games where they like expect to have more of the ball. So, i.e., in some home games, Saliba or Gabriel a rotation risk is how to read into that. They'll play.
But Timber now injured, so there's one less option. So
yeah, you're right. I think although as soon as I don't know when Zinchenko's coming back, but it makes me feel like Zinchenko could play that left centre back role, White could play right centre back, and Saliba. So anyway, what I kind of get from that is that just proven by the fact from game week 1, Gabriel, who was nailed on for 38 starts last season, which was why he was so important to our game week 1 team, because you knew you had that assurance of start. You don't have that. So yeah, long story short, for me, Gabriel, I think he's gone from 38% ownership to he's now less than 30. And he's dropped off. I mean, I expect, like you say, I expect him to play in Crystal Palace game, but maybe not Fulham, probably the Man United game. So maybe 1 to 2 cleans in the next 4 or even starts. I've moved him out straight away. I had that 0.5 million in the bank. I think I made a mistake really by not getting Chilwell at the start of the season because he looked shit hot, and they've got good fixtures now for like the next 7 game weeks. So probably should have started. I think if I'd thought about it more with the news breaking out before the deadline, I should have just done Stones to Chilwell. That would have been so much simpler and avoided Shaw and kept Onana. That would have been really straightforward. But I think in that like the 20 minutes leading up to the deadline, it was just a bit, I don't know, hard to think clearly about what to do. So anyway, so got Chilwell in, and for people who are in the same position, obviously Gabriel looks like he might drop in price. I think Chelsea do have the good fixtures. James is out now as well, so there might be different or cheaper option opening up in defence for them. They have good fixtures. The players are cheaper in price. Gabriel's not. I mean, he scored a couple of goals last season. What do you think if you owned him still this far into the week? What would you do there?
If you still had him, probably too late to go to Chilwell because he's already risen. So you're probably going to be priced out of that. So at that point, I would just stick, I guess. There's no reason to panic, I suppose. If you didn't have Chilwell, you've already missed the boat. So for now, just leave it. I think would be the best. The best option. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, I kind of agree with that. To be honest, I think
according to some of the sort of price change people on Twitter as well, they seem to think that Gabriel's not going to go down in price. So there shouldn't be that to worry about. Hopefully.
No, I hope for the people that own him, because it would have been it's just a crappy start to the season, having him miss the first game and then maybe not even be nailed on. Just pulled up some stats while we're chatting just through all the players in this stream, and this will continue through the season. Just want to shout out to Fantasy Football Hub because they affiliate of ours, and we're using some of their statistics on screen. So got some stats up now just on worst team XGC, and we'll do more of a dive on these as we go throughout the season, because it's only game week 1. But today we're just having a bit more of a chit chat about the key topics. So I think it would probably be good to chat about the 6.5 mids, a sort of bracket you swerved because you weren't sure on it, and now what you say after Odegaard, you were a bit disappointed with how he performed. Obviously, the United midfielders let us down, and a whole host of 6.5 million mids returned. Matoma obviously got some points for me. March, who we poo-pooed in like the first stream of the season, got 9. Who was there enough? I know it's only game week 1, small sample size, but enough there for you to consider any of them for downgrades to any of your big hitters?
Yeah, so there's 9 6.5 million mids. Matoma got 5, March got 9, Mbuemo 7, Diaby 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 returns there. Then there was Barnes that was an outlier with 11, who obviously only played 22 minutes. So 5 out of the 9 got returns in the game week 1. Unlucky for Eze, I suppose. Most of you weren't picking Bernardo. Most of the people weren't picking Almiron or Mudryk. So the ones that were well owned mostly did well. So the big winner was Barnes, who obviously played 22 minutes, got 11 points, 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 big chance, 2 key passes, 2 big chances created, and an XG of 0.45 and an XA of 0.86. So that's amazing for 22 minutes. Like really, really good. So that could continue. Like Gordon obviously played well. I feel like so he's probably still going to stay as first choice for the time being. I
agree as well.
But if he can keep coming on in sort of tired legs defensive situations, he will probably become a option eventually if Gordon keeps like sort of blanking, not coming up with goals and assists for Newcastle, then maybe he will get dropped and Barnes will become an option. He was always an option at Leicester as well. So yeah, I like him. At the moment, not looking to go there, but yeah, he was the one that was on top. And Mbeumo, obviously at Brentford, yeah, probably should have thought about that a little bit more.
I was just thinking, why did we not think about him more? Like it, I don't know why I didn't. Maybe I just thought Brentford wouldn't be as good. But now, he and Eze look like good. I mean, I know Eze was unlucky, but they are such like good talismans for their team, and they both do have quite good fixtures still. And maybe I just got sucked into like using the money.
Yeah, I think it probably was that. Yeah, and Mbeumo was on pens. Yeah, like you said, I just wasn't sure. I wasn't impressed by them in pre-season. I wasn't sure how they'd look without Tony. And they hadn't really brought any other sort of reinforcements into attack. So I was just thinking, they wouldn't be that great. But obviously Spurs are pretty bad at the back. So, they got the points there. But yeah, like Brentford's fixtures look pretty good still. So I'm sort of looking at him eventually, like Flecken, who I've got.
Yeah.
Their fixtures are Fulham away, Crystal Palace at home, Bournemouth at home. So the next three look really, really
good. Yeah.
Newcastle away, they could probably get Mbeumo could score in that maybe. Everton at home and then Forest away as well. So there's some really good fixtures. Then after that, Man United away, and then they got Burnley after that. So yeah, the fixtures are absolutely there for Mbeumo. The defense, like Henry as well, looked good. Flecken hopefully to get some returns. So yeah, I like Mbeumo.
I like Diaby as well. I thought Diaby looked good, and their fixtures long term as well. Apart from that one Liverpool game, their next sort of like 6 to 8 fixtures are good. And I know he doesn't have the penalties like Mbeumo does, but he's playing basically up front in the same way. I think he's going to be good for counter attacks as well. I think in that Liverpool game, it's not a bad game for him, and he was right up there. 3 shots in the box, 2 key passes, 2 touches in the box. It was only, I know Villa got absolutely whomped, but he looked good.
Never know. He could be on pens. We haven't seen, like we said, Watkins has missed 5 of his last 9. So, it's a possibility, I suppose. I have no idea if Diaby's taken any before, but I think Douglas Luiz is the sort of backup. Tielemans is there as well, who's obviously a good penalty taker. So yeah, maybe wait to be seen on that. But yeah, you mentioned Eze, the big loser of this week, the 6.5s. However, 8 shots, which is really good. Next closest was 3 shots of the 6.5 million mids. So that's pretty good. An XG of 0.07, which obviously isn't good, but an XA of 0.69. So I was just behind Barnes's 0.8. 0 big chances, but 7 key passes, which was first. And then 1 big chance created. So there's hauls coming for him, I feel like. So and then he's got this game week 3 fixture of Wolves at home, which looks good. Fulham at home in game week 5. Nottingham Forest at home in game week 8. So there is fixtures to target there in those home games for sure.
Yeah.
I think you probably can't go wrong, as we said. Like these 6.5 million mids are probably just going to keep ticking along, and it just seems to be when you're going to sort of get on them and get off them at the right times.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's like I said about spreading the budget. I think the more we get scared about Salah, because let's be honest, Salah looks big this weekend. And we had a question earlier on one of the comments from St. Aboué, who just said about how he's got Salah, should he captain him this week? And I kind of, during pre-season, Salah obviously performed really well. He was obviously like the crossbar away from like double digits against Chelsea. He's got some okay fixtures next, but I think what the 6.5 mids are definitely showing is that if these double ups, if you like, and triple up in your case, if the Arsenal Man United mids isn't working, there is good value there to sort of squeak in another 6.5 million player in midfield and then upgrade someone else to Salah. I think that is just about doable.
Yeah, I imagine selling both United mids would be able to get to Salah and maybe a 6.5. I guess. I think it's for me. I think it's like a 5 million at the minute. So I think I probably need to downgrade Watkins. But for you, it's probably a defender or your other third midfielder, if that makes sense, because of Odegaard. But yeah, I think they're providing good options, and
like we discussed, switching around between the premiums was like a plan, but now it could be switching between the 6.5 is a good one. But despite that, Mbuemo and even Diaby have decent mid to long term fixtures now.
Yep.
Do we want to go up one more from that price point and just bring in Maddison to that conversation and or what we saw about Spurs this weekend? Because that was like one of the games on Sunday. He obviously got those 2 assists. The second one was a little bit more fortunate than the first, but he absolutely monopolised all the indirect free kicks, corners. It was pretty central to everything.
Yeah.
Took the armband off Son as well when he came off, which is I think quite a big deal that he's like the vice captain of that team already.
Yep.
And I just think he showed his importance really. 6 key passes, 1 big chance created, 87 touches. So he had in that game against Brentford. That was the joint 10th highest of all players this weekend. And the 9 players ahead of him are all sort of like deep line midfielders or defenders. So he was really involved from an attacking point of view. And yeah, maybe the expected points only put him down at 4.9. Maybe that's just because of the unlikelihood of that second goal going in. But yeah, he played well, and they've got some okay fixtures as well.
I think he's just said talisman already. Like he seems to be putting the team on the back already. Like everything went through him. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But then if it's talisman status, you usually sort of accredit that to being good.
Yeah.
But it felt like Son wasn't really doing much. Richarlison wasn't doing. Kulusevski didn't really do anything, and it felt like it was all Maddison. So is that sustainable? I don't know. But yeah, the sort of fixture against United is probably going to be good for him. And then it'd probably be good for the United mids at the same time. So it could be an open game, just like the Brentford one was. Both teams on the counter attacks and stuff like that. So he could easily get a good haul again. Yeah. I've been tempted to bring him in, but it feels like I should probably maybe that's a little bit too soon when I could just have 2 transfers next week. I think their fixtures after United are really good, aren't they? They've got a really good run of 3 in a row or something like that.
Yeah, I think they've got Sheffield United in there, Burnley in there, so they've got 2 of the promoted sides.
Yeah, and Bournemouth as well. So 3 weeks of really good fixtures there for Maddison. I can easily get to him. Obviously should have done from the start, but any one of my mids could go to him at any point. So. Yeah, I'm certainly looking at that. But I'm also looking at Chelsea forwards, someone like Jackson as well. So for their amazing run. But maybe Maddison is possibly better with how good those fixtures are and him looking that involved.
Absolutely. Davro in the chat said he scored 86 points, so betted us by about 10 and 9. And Maddison and Onana doing the business. And I think he's... Just because of his price point, he seems like quite shrewd at the minute. So, we banked heavily on Arsenal having these 2 good and United having these 2 good fixtures in game weeks 1 and 3 for both of them respectively. So, if they don't show a good level of performance in sort of home games against Wolves, Nottingham Forest for both, and Fulham, I think Arsenal have got in that second one. So, it's just there's lots of options showing their head, but it's for people that have already jumped on them and are going to be making gains off that.
I think if Bruno is playing a bit deep again and doesn't look like he's doing anything in that Spurs game, which he probably will because it's that sort of game that he could do well. Yeah. But if he doesn't show that he's doing enough, then he could probably go before that Forest game. I feel like I know that feels like a worry, but if he's playing deep, he's probably not going to get many returns anyway. Yeah. So,
do you want to talk to me a bit about Bruno from that game? Because I didn't watch it in full. Was he that deep? Was he?
He wasn't hugely deep, but then he was kind of just playing like a CM role rather than an attacking role. He was probably he was like an 8 role ahead of Casemiro, but then Casemiro was getting sort of just run through very easily, and then the whole midfield was him and Mount just weren't really doing enough defensively or tracking back enough as they should have been, but they were still deep. He was behind Mount's position most of the time, so. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really expect it. It's such a waste of his talent. I thought they would have changed this for this season. I thought Mount could have played the sort of deeper role, or Eriksen in some games. But Eriksen is clearly sort of maybe a bit too old and too tired to deal with that now. Yeah. But they clearly just need to buy another 6 to go alongside Casemiro, and then Bruno can be freed again. Until then, I don't know. it's a worry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, me hearing you say that when you're like one of Bruno's biggest fans, and I'm almost as keen to get off the obviously kept Shaw in place of Gabriel, but almost as worried by that United defence with how open they looked. I mean, 5.5 million is a lot for Shaw in not good fixtures, and I mean, Wolves probably should have scored. To be honest, they looked like they had so many good chances, and probably a penalty at the end of the game. To be honest, I mean, which was even more bitter that Onana got those bonus points when he probably should have given away a penalty.
Yeah, I feel like Ten Hag's a good enough manager to have seen that game and been like, holy shit, we need to sort that midfield out and that defense and shore it up somehow. I'll forget the Shaw pun there. But they need to do something, and they should be able to fix that quite quickly, I hope. Anyway,
All right. What else caught your eye this weekend?
Okay. Brighton looks good.
Yeah.
Obviously a 4-1 win. Luton looked pretty bad though, so maybe shouldn't get too over the top with overreacting to them looking good.
But then we can overact with Chelsea though.
True. But yeah, Pedro, my guy. I said he was going to get goals and assists. Obviously, he got a goal. He should have missed an absolute sitter. I don't know what he even did there to miss that chance. But yeah, he's sort of creeping up in the ownership as well. He was 26%. Now he's up to 27 already.
Nice.
So yeah, 87 minutes played. He's looked very involved. One pen goal, obviously. Gross was on the pitch too, which obviously we did find out in preseason, but that's just been confirmed now. 4 shots, which was joint second of all forwards. An XG of 1.12 when a penalty is about 0.7. So he's had about 0.4 on top of that as well. 2 big chances, 1 key pass. Not much in an XA area, but he looked very involved. He was unlucky not to get more returns, I feel like. So cannot complain for 5.5 million. I think he's going to keep ticking over. I think he looks nailed in that sort of 10 spot. So yeah, happy with him. I think most people should just get him. The fixtures the next 2 are still good. Maybe always fixture proof. Do you feel like you can start a Brighton attacker in any game,
I kind of agree. And he's so cheap.
I'm not worried.
Yeah, didn't realise his ownership had spiked so high, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be due a price rise. But no, you called that one well, to be fair. And you'd expect now, because he's started and performed well, there's no reason why he would be dropped. I mean, I'm sure there will be some rotation at Brighton, but that could be said of any of the forward players. I mean, it was just like proof that Ferguson came on and still returned. Welbeck was still playing up front, and he probably, like you say, he missed that big chance. Welbeck was through quite cleanly in the first half and could have squared it to him. So, yeah, I think on another day he could have definitely scored a couple goals. But typically, I think that the penalty that he won was soft. Also, the Luton penalty in that game was soft as well. So maybe the referee was trying to even it up.
I can't believe that was given a handball. I don't understand. Like, it's just, where's his arms going to get? Like,
I know.
It's hit his elbow when he's like, just don't understand.
I know. You need like the momentum to slide, and your arm is going to go somewhere, and like in the split second you're moving, it's just an absurd decision. I think it's not like his arm was up. No,
you said to me like during the week in our chat that you feel like you've missed the boat on him. So are you not tempted to get him in at any point?
Maybe, but I think it requires more surgery to get him in. I really like Jackson for Chelsea's fixture run, and having Watson was sort of vaguely part of the plan to have an expensive forward who I could downgrade. I mean, so many people have bolted and gone to Isaac. Like, why? It was like the first price rise of the season. It was just classic. Someone does well game week 1, their price goes up. They've got such rough fixtures at Man City this weekend. He's a rotation risk. Anyway, enough about that. But yeah, part of the reason having Watkins was to be able to downgrade. And to be fair to me, Jackson was a bit of an unknown, but from watching some extended highlights, he got into good positions. He looked like the focal point of that Chelsea attack. Doesn't look like they're going to sign anyone like in the next week or 2 to play centre forward. So someone's got to put the ball in the back of the net. And now that Reece James is injured, we don't know who's on pens, and I don't know if he's taken any in his career. But you'd kind of think if there was a penalty against Luton and he hasn't scored, there's a fair chance that he'd want to get his account up and running. So who knows what Sterling's going to try and do, because he's quite selfish. True.
For trying to go for penalties, but he's really bad at them. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So no, I like it. Back to your question, I like Pedro, but João Pedro, but yeah, just how do I squeeze him in with the 3-5-2 at the moment? I'd have to make a double move to get him, if that makes sense. And
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So otherwise on Brighton still. So Estepinian, yeah, he's well over like 50% ownership now. So, but yeah, his heat map was off the charts forward. He's very advanced. I'm pretty unlucky not to get more
Yeah,
returns. He was
definitely.
kind of taking the piss with the defense at times. Just looked like he was just having a lot of fun. 3 shots first opinion, which was first of all defenders, an XG of 0.32, which was 7th, an XA of 1.02, which is huge for just one game. As first of all defenders, and the next closest was 0.86, which was Henry at Brentford. And to note, Trent, who's obviously 8 billion, the most expensive defender in the game, not even in the top 20 for the expected assists.
Wow.
So yeah, Estepinian looking good, but we all kind of really knew what we were expecting against Leicester from him. I feel like so. It's just if he can sort of keep that up. Is he going to be maybe even fixture proof? I don't expect many sort of clean sheets, but maybe he can get attacking returns in most games. I feel like that's possible at least.
Yeah, I was looking for their fixture run for the first sort of 8 game weeks, because I've still got this vague idea in my head that I'm going to wildcard around game week 8 if I can maintain a good thing. And there's only one game where I sort of considered benching him, and that's away against Man United, which is game week 6 or 7. And even then I was just thinking, you know what, like based on how United were last night, I mean maybe that will change, but there's absolutely every chance that Estupiñán could be involved in an attacking return. And like we saw, he missed a few chances, which is obviously negative BPS, didn't keep a clean sheet, got 1 assist and picked up some bonus in that game. So I think I don't rate Brighton's clean sheet potential. You're right. I feel like they're down on that front, but I rate his attacking returns based on how high he was. So yeah, I feel like maybe he is vaguely fixture proof, and we saw that with Trippier a little bit last season. Even the games where he didn't keep a clean sheet, he might have, or Newcastle didn't. He was either getting subbed early and going off and just missing it, or he was getting an assist, and obviously the good BPS that came from it. So, he could be this year's Trippier, really. I mean, even though he was like a small mini Trippier last year, maybe that'll happen.
Yeah, if he does start sort of not returning, not getting the clean sheets, there's very with his ownership, he could drop pretty quickly.
Yeah,
so there's that to keep an eye on as well.
That's true. Was there any other points from the Brighton game? I
was just going to mention March. Obviously, we did poo-poo him a little bit, but yeah, a headed goal, which I imagine is not going to happen very often from him. Low owned, only 3%, so good job to the owners. But the Mohamed Kudus move seems to have sort of stalled a little bit, so there's not really much talk about that at the moment. So I guess for now, March looks okay and good to go. And if you wanted to go there with another midfielder, why not at the moment? But, yeah.
What did you think of the Chelsea pool game from I know you mentioned Trent a minute ago, but like the Salah, Diaz, Jota. I mean, there's obviously so much talk coming into this game week, especially because of the Bournemouth game, and we discussed it in last week's show that we could be prepared to make a transfer for Jota. He didn't have such a great game. Gakpo was I don't know, maybe not so effective. Darwin came on late in the game, but I mean, Salah kicked off big time when he got subbed early, which was one of the factors we put in his court last week, was that he was a bit of a minutes monster. I suppose my question is, how worried are you about this game week now that City have played a long game last night? And then long term, has anything from this first weekend changed your mind and made you think Salah is more essential than you initially thought? I'm pretty sure it's only one game week.
I don't think so. He looked good, but he only looked good for like 20 odd minutes, which is obviously enough to haul in. But then the rest of the time, he just looked like nothing was going for them. That was, but credit to Chelsea, because they dominated the ball most of the second half at least. So yeah, I don't know. He looked good, but then the rest of the attack didn't. Diaz looked okay, but kind of uninvolved as well. So yeah, obviously the fixture against Bournemouth looks like it could either be 6 or 7-0, or it could be like a 1-1 or a 1-0 to like Bournemouth or something like that. It could literally go either way. Like Bournemouth look like they're quite solid defensively, but they've also started to press really high under this new manager, and that's screaming that Salah could be getting in behind.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's vital that Bournemouth don't concede early.
Yeah.
If they concede early, like a 1-0 within 10 minutes, and Salah's on the score sheet already, or an assist or whatever it is, I'll be fearing a lot. But if they can get it to like half time at 0-0, I'd be pretty
you'd be pretty confident,
pretty happy that they could sort of keep it low, very low scoring there at the end.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, but the fixtures to me after Bournemouth don't look ideal for Liverpool. Newcastle away, Villa at home, Wolves away, who obviously look like they're not that bad now. West Ham at home, Tottenham away, Brighton away. So these are all teams that are probably going to score against them, give them a game. So maybe that's good for Salah. It probably is, but at the same time, like I feel like the rest of the spreading of the funds has been okay so far, at least. So, but then again, like the people that I'm spending the funds on, the Rashards and the Brunos have been crap so far. So
yeah, it's been the ones below
let's see how it goes, I suppose. For the time being, I feel we just need to make our bed and lie in it.
Yeah, exactly. And I was kind of thinking, like, even someone like Martinelli, who I was looking at today and thinking, like, can I get rid of Martinelli? Can I get rid of Bruno? Can I get rid of Salah? I was like, well, Martinelli matched Salah this weekend, and I know he's not going to do it every week, but I mean, it does prove that by spreading the funds, Salah can sort of vaguely be covered. It's just if in the weeks where people who have got Salah and Haaland do have the balls to captain him and he goes big, that's when you're going to really feel the effect of it, because obviously they're getting double off that. So yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting game this weekend, and I think it's going to change a lot of perceptions about what we do with our Liverpool choices for sure, especially because it's United Spurs as well.
I'm worried, obviously, not owning Salah. But it is the second game week of the season. Like, how big can he really go? Like, we can just gain it again. I feel like, should be okay.
Yeah, it should be okay. It's not it's a 3:00 game as well, so maybe like it's not going to be that exciting. If it had been the 12:30 Saturday game, it was guaranteed Salah blanks, but now it's 3 p.m. I don't know. Right, should we get on to talking about our teams? Our plans? Yeah, unless there's anything else you want to chat about. I feel like we covered most of the bits I wanted to...
I was going to say just Trent didn't look particularly great.
Oh, yeah.
His numbers were literally 0 across every attacking metric. Big chances 0, big chances created 0, XG 0, XA 0. Only got 7 in the bonus points, the BPS. So compared to Estepinian, who played Luton, he was on like 37-ish. So it was like, night and day. So let's see if he continues in that sort of 6th position. Didn't look that attacking. Obviously, he got the assist for the offside goal. And we would have been saying other things. For now, he's not looking great.
It's interesting they still haven't... I know that obviously they tried with Caicedo and they tried with Lavia, and neither of those have come off, and they're still scrabbling around trying to find like a new number 6. So obviously
they bought a guy from... I think it was Wolfsburg or something. He's a Japanese or South Korean or something. I think he's called Endo Wataro or something. I know nothing about him, but I saw on Twitter that his stats for his sort of defensive work is up there in the sort of high echelons of the defensive mids in Europe. So yeah, I think they found a pretty good bargain, but we'll just see how it goes, I suppose.
Excellent. Oh, well, maybe that'll improve their defensive prospects, and Trent will go back to being more of an inverted right back, if you like. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I'll start this week if you like, because usually you go first, because I've actually made a transfer. So team as it stands this weekend. So I'm playing Turner in goal for that Friday night home game against Sheffield United, just because Johnson has got a home game against Arsenal. I mean, Johnson did well for me last week. He was one of my little beacons that I was pleased with. But yeah, I can't play Johnson at home when I've got 2 Arsenal attackers. So now, because of my Gabriel transfer, I've walked into double Chelsea defence, which I don't like double defences, but it's just that mad scramble on the Friday before the season started is just like thrown me a little bit. So yeah, I've got Colwell and Chilwell starting against West Ham, Estupiñán starting as well against Wolves away, Rashford, Bruno, Martinelli, Saka, Mitoma, Wolves away. Haaland has got the armband on him at the moment, just because he's Haaland, and Watkins vice captain as well, get home against Everton. I feel like Watkins is my pick this weekend that I need to do well to have a good week. I think across the midfield there's some difficult fixtures there for basically all of them. And I'm not confident on a Chelsea clean sheet, but I'm not confident on a Shaw clean sheet either. So if Watkins can return something for me, I think that's going to sort of make the difference between even at this stage, a red and a green arrow, to be honest.
Yeah, like it. Looks good. You got the option to bench Shaw, which is nice because you got Colwill. But are you expecting a clean sheet there for Chelsea? Or have you just said you're not?
I think I can see Spurs scoring 1 or 2 goals. I could see West Ham scoring 1 goal. So I'm just basically pitting a 2-pointer against a 1-pointer. And Shaw's got a good knack of getting a yellow card. So I wouldn't be surprised if he could picked up a yellow card.
Yeah. It's just like annoying because like if we both had Stone still and he was still fit and he was like, we would have had the clean sheet versus Burnley. And then we would have been playing him at Newcastle home, and we wouldn't have had to worry about any of this. You didn't have to have double Chelsea defence.
I know.
Obviously, I picked Udogie or whatever he's called at Spurs as for their good fixtures after this week.
Yeah.
So I don't have the option to bench Shaw. So obviously, I'm going to go for the. Maybe I should play him instead of Shaw, but I feel like
maybe I would probably do that.
Would you? I feel like Spurs defence is worse than United, so
I'd probably still back the home team. I'd probably still back the home team. That's what. Well, Sheffield,
yeah, you're probably right.
I'd probably say that. I mean, United weren't great, and Spurs were, but I mean, Spurs were not great defensively. No, I'd probably.
At the moment, like he's probably only Shaw is probably only starting because of the price point. I feel like that's the only reason I've started him over Udogie.
Yeah.
But yeah, your team looks good. I don't feel like there's any need to transfer at the moment.
No, well, apart from, I mean, I wouldn't have done a transfer. I just didn't fancy.
Oh yeah, you did.
I did Chilwell to go Gabriel to Chilwell. I just didn't. At least I know. I think the main reason I did it was at least I know with sure that he's going to start. Like I don't want to be lining up for game week. I was thinking game week 3 when Gabriel's got Palace at home and Shaw's got Forest, and then I would have had Colwill playing against Luton. I would have been kicking myself if like that game again Gabriel gets benched and I haven't got Chilwell for one of those players against Luton at home and then he scores, because that would just be frustrating. Whereas I feel like now I've got still an okay fixture in game week 2. It's not ideal long term, but to bench a 5.5 million, sure, but it's okay. It is what it is.
Yeah, I feel like it could be like a 0-0 there. That the Chelsea West Ham games, I feel like in the past have just, at least the last few seasons, have been quite boring.
Yeah, I hope it's boring. I hope it's might take a 0-0. Well, if I imagine Caicedo's going to start, and one of the stats that really caught my eye from the weekend when having a look at all the numbers is that Liverpool had like the 2nd or 3rd lowest XG of the weekend. I mean, I would not have called that like away against this new Chelsea team, but yeah, Chelsea looked good defensively from the numbers they conceded, so maybe they can put a similar performance up against West Ham if Caicedo comes in, Enzo and Caicedo in midfield. Yep. Yeah, it could be good. So yeah, that's how I'm heading into the weekend, and we'll wait to see what leaks we have. All right, cool. Let's jump over and have a look at your team. So I imagine. See, this is the first time I've properly looked at it. You're going Flecken in goal rather than Turner. Do you want to read out for people?
Yeah, so Flecken in goal, back 3 of Chilwell, Shaw, Estepinian, could be Udogie over Shaw, and then the triple Arsenal midfielders in Odegaard, Martinelli, and Saka, and then the double United midfielders, Fernandes and Rashford, Haaland up top with a João Pedro and a 2, Haaland captain at the moment, Saka vice. Yeah, I think I probably will go Udogie over Shaw. And I'm just picking Flecken just because, Forest still are pretty bad. So I don't know. Flecken, like, I feel Fulham basically didn't really do anything against Everton. They had like a couple chances and they really didn't do much else. So
yeah,
I feel like Brentford should be able to keep them out. Hopefully, anyway.
Well, what about Sheffield? I mean, I don't want to cast doubt in your mind, but Sheffield United were crud again. I know against Palace, and they don't really seem to have a striker. That's the main reason. I mean, I've got an easier decision than you, admittedly, because it's Johnson against my double Arsenal, so it's easy.
Yeah, I'm not sure at the moment, honestly. That's just where I'm at.
Right.
They could be either. Because I feel like both of them are good fixtures. So
I've got to say, on your bench, I know that Kabor is like last bench. He's not playing this game week, but I've got to say he looked good against Brighton in the first half. I mean, and the amount of balls he put into the box, I mean, it's not often, I suppose, based on how our squad structures are, but if he needs to step in for like a game week where he's got a good home fixture against a team at the bottom of the table, he could be a good shout to get like a cheeky assist over the course of the season.
Kept Matova fairly quiet, at least in the first half. So,
No, he played really well against him.
Yeah, and there's obviously, with James out, there's Gusto at 4 million who's going to become an option as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could even start to go for Shaw down to someone like Gusto as well, just to save even like 1.5 million.
It's quite a lot, isn't it?
It's huge.
Yeah.
Which would help a Salah sort of in at some point as well, I imagine. So yeah, interested in that for sure. And next week, because I'm gonna roll, I'm looking at someone like Jackson, looking at Maddison. Just for that Luton, just for that amazing run that Chelsea are about to go on. So yeah.
So you'd expect it, I suppose your decision is going to be based on what you see this weekend with regards to game week 3 and which players downgrade.
See how the Arsenal players look, see how United looks, and then I'll just go from there.
Who would you need to downgrade to Maddison to get him in? Is that possible? Pedro to Jackson with just... How much is Maddison? 7.5?
7.5, yeah. So no, I would need to do like a Bruno down to like a 6.5, and I can get Mubama up to a Jackson.
Right. Oh, right. Okay.
So it's possible to go to a 3-4-3. Yeah.
Ah, got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you got no reason to get rid of Pedro then? Okay.
No.
Oh, interesting. All right. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I think I like it.
No plans. He's my boy. He's your
boy. Yeah. To be honest,
all the time.
The longer he starts and plays at 5.5, I could see myself getting him as well. And it is an easier way for me to get to Salah as well. So, yeah, cool. All right. I like it.
It's a shame, really, because there is only 2 actual premiums now in the game.
Yeah.
There's no Kane. KDB is not an option because he's now injured. Get 2 premiums. I remember the days of there being quite a few.
Yeah.
And now, just 2.
I know. I think it's the pricing of... Well, yeah, those 3, and then obviously Saka, Rashford, Bruno, and Odegaard just being a bit lower has meant that we can have these spread fun teams. But maybe as we go further in the season, we do find that having expensive Salah is still good.
I think almost certainly towards like the wild cards and stuff, where every team is going to have the 2 premiums, just because Gusto looks like he's going to be an option. There's going to be enough 4.0s, enough cheap 6.5 mids that are playing well, that the 2 premiums is going to be the one.
Absolutely. And I'm jealous of those people who are already in position of it for sure. All right, I don't think any more said. Let's just pick up questions in the chat. Harry Dawson said, got here, not sure what you guys said about Gusto at 4 million. Obviously, like we've just discussed, I think this week is key. And
I think he'll play.
If he plays, and he was playing in pre-season, wasn't he? So
and he came on for James in the last game. So
I think he'll be good. And Reva said, "Is Stones' injury confirmed?" I think don't know if it's been confirmed by City, but I think it's been like reported. Do you think the same on that one?
Yeah, I think it was by some of the FPL guys on Twitter. They got it.
Oh, really?
And but apparently it was because they were training. They trained today after coming back, so the players that didn't really play in the Super Cup trained, and he picked it up today. So I don't know why he was out before, but he only picked it up today.
Amazing.
Apparently. So it's not confirmed. So if you've still got him, I guess just wait and see.
Yeah.
At least till tomorrow, because you just wait for the press conferences. So don't sell him just yet. But as of right now, I'm acting as if he's gone. He's injured.
Yeah. Oh, he could. I mean, City could have been such good options. I mean, up until I shared the screenshot with you last week, but up until the deadline, I was so set on like a 5 million midfielder in Ake and Onana in goal, and just all those. I mean, I can't hate the leaks too much really, because people are trying to spread news, and they only tell us or tell people when they get it, and that point hasn't really changed. But I think it's just, I don't know, almost becomes unfair for people who can't react to it in time across the world. But yeah, I think it was just such panic with the Stones, and then have to back on Arsenal as well. It's just on players which are so highly owned.
It was strange that Arsenal stuff came out the night before their game.
I know, yeah, so far in advance.
So like, if that had not happened, then everyone would have just been stuck with him because he was on a Saturday. It was strange that he even came out then.
And it was just so typical that everyone went to Saliba, and he got a return as well.
That was bullshit. Yeah,
that was bad. I mean, if it need to make it right, Gabriel gets the same amount of points today or this weekend, and Saliba doesn't start. For those that or didn't have time, but anyway, that's how it goes.
Yep.
Right, we got any more to say? Or we're rapidly wrapping up.
Yeah, just big sofa / not turn on notifications for Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm going out at 3 p.m. Saturday. I'm making sure I'm out of the house. I'm somewhere without any Wi-Fi, which will be easy around here.
Sounds good.
Perfect. All right.
Nice. All right.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks all.